My backhand's always been my biggest weakness, even when I was playing a lot. In high school, it didn't matter much. In high school, I wasn't really challenged a tremendous amount, with the exception of a couple players. In college, it became obvious that it was like the largely weaker side, and I was running around as many backhands as humanly possible. Over the last 15 years, I've learned a tremendous amount about what a good one-handed backhand should be. And I also know, I've got a pretty good idea now of like what I would change if I was to work on it. But just because I have the information doesn't mean my body automatically just does it correctly. Like I have all these decades old bad habits that basically need to be reversed if I want to have a significantly better backhand than what my habits are. I know there's this big fundamental flaw. I've never really shown it or shared it before, and so this will be the first time people have really seen it. But I think it's important for people to understand that A, it doesn't matter how good of a player you are, there's always the next level of execution. But B, probably more importantly, knowledge doesn't just automatically lead to execution. And so my level of understanding what a good backhand is and looks like and what the mechanics are is exponentially better than my physical ability to actually execute it. And I'm looking forward to seeing like how quickly I can pick it up with good process and good feedback and good level of focus on the right things.
So this is an exciting moment where we've got Ian out here, and this is the time or moment of truth. We're gonna really dive deep into his one-handed backhand, and hopefully at the end of this, we're gonna come up with something to help him develop a better one-handed backhand, something that he can be really proud of. So this is the challenge. We're on the clock right now. So the first thing we're gonna do is start with, we've already hit some balls, and in any type of situation where you wanna start working on your stroke, you have to use video. If you're not using video, there's no way of keeping yourself accountable. There's no mechanism for feedback to find out.
Just knowing what the heck you're doing in the first place.
Exactly. So you can tell he's itching to get into this thing.
Can't wait.
So I've already taken some video, and what we're going to do is first go over, I like going over a pro, so we're going to use Roger Federer and his backhand and look at the key positions. Now, here's the thing that I want to kind of guard everybody against. When you look at a pro, there's so many things. It's like, I wish I don't do this right, that right. I mean, it just starts pouring out of you.
Snowball.
Exactly. We're going to pick, or try to pick one thing, just one thing, and really focus on that. And this is what I call the linchpin move. We're going to try to find the linchpin thing, the one thing that we can help Ian with to really help him gain some ground on developing a better backhand. So as we sit here and we go through Roger Federer, I want to go through the key positions, which is starting with the unit turn. You can really see here where Roger's turning his body, and he does a pretty good job, or sorry, not pretty good job, he does a great job of getting his racket in a good ready position.
Right.
So as we look at Ian here, okay, pretty similar. The unit turn's not that bad. What I would say for Ian as we go through is to developing a little bit more of a unit where his shoulders are coiling up a little bit more, so you can really notice that. I want to point out all these little areas, so if you at home are struggling with your backhand, you can check these areas and make sure that you have them covered. Next position is Roger's taking his racket back, and I love the word butt pull because he's going to get into the butt pull position. And if you don't know what that is right now, this is the butt pull position where his butt of the racket is facing to the side so he can leverage the swing.
Butt.
Pull. Okay, so let's see what Ian does. And you can see this is where you start to see the contrast, the difference. So if you're wondering, I get this question, I think we all get this question a lot, I was like, how do I analyze myself? This is exactly how you do it. You find a good model and you start looking for the differences. And you can really see how Ian kind of fudges the butt pull. He's almost there and he starts to swing forward where you can really see how Roger really commits to going and pulling his racket down to this butt pull position, and Ian's already into the sideways position. So what I mean by sideways, his butt of the racket's facing forward where Roger's is facing off to the side. And if I clear this all out, look where now Roger is, where Ian is now, where the racket or the butt is facing towards the ball. So you can definitely tell how this is a huge difference between both of them. And obviously Roger has a great backhand, so we're gonna use that as a model. Next portion that we're looking at is we're gonna look at Roger and how his racket head compares to the level of the ball. And where if we look at Ian's racket, let me kind of go forward a little bit.
Doesn't even get to the same level.
So this is another point of, I'll give him some credit here. I'll undo that last line.
Yeah, come on.
This is a point where we see where the ball is, and you can really see another kind of difference for Ian, that he's not really getting the racket under the ball a lot. So that's our second kind of thing that we have to consider. You can really see how Roger's swing path is going up to meet the ball, creating spin. Also, you're going to see how his racket is brushing up. So let's see what Ian does as he does his swing. Pretty much.
Megan was commenting about how I kind of hit the inside of the ball. You can kind of see that here, how I'm pulling across the side.
So two things that I want you to note that Ian's talking about. First of all, there's not really an upward action into the ball. It's almost, you can really see how it's pretty straight into the ball, and then the hand comes up. One really tricky thing that sometimes you won't notice, even when we're doing this, is that when I look at Roger Federer's hand here, he has this position in his hand almost the entire time. So if you really zone up, when he makes contact with the ball, his hand's still in this position here, and as he continues to make contact, his hand just rolls over. What I see Ian doing, which is very subtle, but you can tell, is that he starts yanking his hand forward and pulling his wrist in this kind of unnatural position to get the racket to go forward. So it's not really a pull. So that's another
it's more
thing.
Of a twist
yeah,
or
so
a
twist.
turn. Yeah, there's a lot of tension there because I'm trying to maneuver the racket head around.
Yeah, and because of this, I think it also prevents him from creating a lot of brush because his racket is going forward. If your racket's going forward, it makes it very difficult to brush the ball this way. So we can really see, let's see where his follow through is. Up there, sorry, go back here. So contact, you can really see how after contact, Ian's trying to get the racket to do some sort of brush here, going around and
it's my faux brush.
And then the follow through is semi-similar. So you can see now how to do an exact kind of walkthrough of what you want to do to compare strokes with a pro and figure out what you want to work on. So what I'm going to work on with Ian after going through and thinking about the linchpin move is
golf.
Golf? We're not going to work on golf.
No, okay.
No golf today. But we are going to work on the butt pull. I think this is so crucial because you can really see how Ian doesn't achieve the butt pull. And I think part of him not achieving the butt pull, he's trying to yank his racket forward to get the racket to go into the ball. I'm not going to really work on him brushing the ball, maybe rotating and brushing up like Roger right now. We're just going to commit to the butt pull and see if we can clean that portion of his stroke up. Once we hopefully make some progress with that, then in a later session we might come back and work on something else. But this is the exact mindset that I want you at home thinking about when you're trying to work on your stroke. Picking one linchpin thing and then thinking about, if I fix this one thing, will it help a lot of other things in the process? This is the exact process if you want to make improvements and make a change to your game, what you have to do. Again, Ian's shadowing, we've checked the video. He saw kind of little things he did where he popped the wrist forward a little bit, but it's still a lot better. We continue and continue to refine it until we get it to a acceptable level.